Iron Supporting Food Banks collects food and cash donations for needy families in Newham Borough and beyond. Please consider making a donation via their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of this stream. Come on, you Irons!
West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. Everywhere we go. West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. West Ham are massive, everywhere we go. Everywhere we go.
No, I was hiding there as well. Don't worry. I just forgot to press that button. Guys, welcome back to the West Ham Massive. Thanks for joining us. Please don't forget to like, comment on and share this stream to your social media platforms. Don't be shy of getting involved in the live chat as well if you're there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're new around here, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for alerts on new content. They help to grow the channel. All these actions, they're free of charge from your point of view. Take a couple of seconds of your time. Don't forget. So thank you very much indeed for your support. We are here to discuss Premier League Match Day 7 of 38, where the mighty West Ham United confront the Tractor Boys of Ipswich Town, who after a 20-odd year absence from the Premier League have come back up. And, well, they had an impressive showing last week against Aston Villa, it has to be said. But we'll see how they shape up against the other team in claret and blue. Keep your eye on the ticker below. That will intermittently change and give you certain little facts and figures about the game that's about to take place at London Stadium this afternoon, such as the officials. There you go, as if by magic. So keep an eye on that. We've already got HVMY in here. Hope you're doing well, mate. Over there in New York. Come on, you Irons. We've got fans everywhere. We are massive everywhere we go. And he might even be a future star of a Dougie Brimson film. You never know. Berlin Lounge is in as well. Hope you are well. And so is Colin. Colin, hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Right, Ben. Let's get stuck into it, shall we? And I'll get this up as well. My little presentation for your enjoyment and education.
I must say, Rob, you're looking rather dashing in this claret and blue top. I'm not quite sure what it is. It's obviously not a West Ham top, but
I'll tell you what,
it's West Ham related.
Let me just go, if I may, I'll just go solo, right? Because there might be people looking and going, that looks rather striking. And you can see there are crossed hammers in the back. If I turn around, there's actually a pair of gold crossed hammers on the centre part of the collar. And some of you, if any of you are into darts, and specifically the World Seniors Darts Tour, you may be aware of a player by the name of Richie Howson. And Richie Howson is a massive West Ham fan, and I got this off of him. And he's promised at some point that he will come on the channel to do a little piece with us. So that's in the pipeline. But Richie at the minute is in York, and he's taking part in the World Seniors match play. He's got past his opponent in the opening round, which was Trina Gulliver, and he's playing Neil Duff in the quarterfinals. Richie's actually done really well in the World Seniors Darts, just to give him a little bit of a shout out. He's got to numerous finals. He got to a World Championship final and a World Masters final last year. Unfortunately, he didn't get over the line, but he got to the final nonetheless. He actually managed to get to world number one as far as the World Seniors was concerned. And he also managed this year to break his tournament duck, and he actually managed to win the Champion of Champions tournament, which was held in Blackpool. So he's going into this in fine form. And as I say, he's a massive hammer. So hopefully he will raise some silverware and be able to claim it in the name of West Ham, Ben.
We hope so, mate. We hope so. Yeah, good luck to him.
Right, let's get stuck into it. Okay,
yes.
Ben, Ipswich, what's been your thoughts on them this season, mate?
I think they seem. I mean, look, obviously they come up. I think they won the league by some margin, didn't they?
They were runners up, I believe. Wasn't it? Who was it that won? It was Leicester that won it, wasn't it? They were second.
Right. Well, I think it was probably, Ipswich, they've done fantastic in recent years, haven't they? Because they, they've just come up. They come up from League One, and they've just. It seems they play without any fear. Like they just go out there and give it a go. And I think obviously their manager he's got a good reputation and had quite a few big clubs sniffing around him. So, and it's not like, when like Nottingham Forest come up, they literally bought 11 new players.
Yeah.
What I quite like to see is that Ipswich, even though they've strengthened their team, they've still got a few players that were there last season. They've bought some players from the Championship, like that Jacob Greaves, looked like a good young centre-half that we was linked with. Yep. Obviously, they've got the Yorkshire Pudding in the middle of the park, Calvin Phillips, who, quite frankly, I fucking guarantee you, turns back into the Yorkshire Perlo fucking today. Because quite frankly, he's going to have a big point to prove. Yeah. I think, look, they've they haven't actually won a game, have they? But they've only lost one by the look of it, and that's against Man City. So, mate, to be honest,
actually they lost two. I think the other one was Liverpool. In fairness,
yeah, and I think they was meant to give Liverpool a bit of a good game. So look, they haven't won a game, and I hope they fucking don't win a game anytime soon, especially today. But I think they're doing well, you know what I mean? And I think they're playing quite fearlessly. And if we think we're going to stroll up today and just fucking bag the 3 points, I think we've got another thing coming. I think we can win the game, but we've got to really put the effort in.
Yeah. Before I get into the next question, I think it would probably be a good idea to ensure that everything's aligned, that I just give a little bit of an update on the latest news that I have in regards to sort of like players that won't make it for either team. So as far as West Ham are concerned, we know that Nicholas Füllkrug we're not going to see him. I'd actually heard that whisper a little way out, and some of you may have heard a comment that I made on one of the videos that I did in the previous week or so, where I said I'd heard he wasn't going to be available for the Ipswich game back then. And as this game has rolled closer and closer, it's now been confirmed that Füllkrug, you're not going to see him today. So that's him done. But Edson Alvarez will come back after a ban, or at least he's available. Obviously, the manager may or may not select him. I think he would be foolish if he didn't. But, I'm not the manager. I don't know what he's thinking. I'm not sure he knows what he's thinking, but that's another story. As far as Ipswich are concerned, I know. I'm just having a laugh. It's a little bit of fun. Don't take it too seriously. As far as Ipswich are concerned, Harry Clark, Nathan Broadhead, they're both doubts as far as the trip to London Stadium are concerned. Janai Donasian, he's also a doubt. He will be, he's actually the only confirmed absentee, as it turns out. So if we now then turn our attention to the next question, Ben, just to give you that little bit of information, in your opinion, who is the opposition's key player?
I think it's the lad that's smiling like a gimp on the screen.
This is timing, ladies and gentlemen, timing.
And I'm not talking about you.
No, fair enough. Fair point.
And I'm not talking about that fucking player either. Liam Delap, mate. I think he started the season well, and I'm pleased to see it. He's a young English talent that I think he's on loan from City, isn't he? Or did they buy him?
I'm not 100% sure, I'll be honest with you.
And to be honest, mate, it's always difficult. I think he had a good record in the youth leagues. He was on the bench for City quite a while. I think he went out on loan. And you never quite know if these players are going to be Premier League players. Yeah. But from what I can see, it's a toss of a coin whether he could end up playing in League One or be the next Harry Kane. You just don't know. Yeah. But from what I see, especially the goals last week, he's looking like he's at Premier League level, especially the second goal. I don't know if you see it. He kind of burst through from the halfway line. he was sort of one-on-one with I think it was the City, the Villa centre-half that is no mug, and he done a step over, jinked the other way, and fucking sent the geezer into another postcode, quite frankly, and then just buried it in the bottom corner. And you thought, look, that's a player that looks like he looks like he's a big lump. He looks like he's got a bit of pace and a bit of skill, and he can finish. And I think we've got to keep a real close eye on him today. And I think he looks a really good player.
Fair. I mean, I am inclined to think that their star player. I'm not too sure if they have one, if I'm being honest. I think they're a team. They're a team in the true sense of the word. I don't really see. I mean, yes, you could look at Leon Delap, but one player that I've sort of been quite impressed with last season, and to a degree and it was referenced by Sharky, Leif Davis, who is their young left back. And actually, and I'll be truthful, if he does half decent this season, and if Ipswich do go down and we're still a Premier League team, neither of these are certainties, of course. I'd be half tempted to put in a bid for him. I'll be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah. And to be honest, Rob, I always find that teams coming up from the Championship, it's a good way for good young English talent to get into the Premier League, because already established Premier League teams, it's difficult for youngsters to get in. Yeah. But whereas if they've been playing in the Championship and come up, they're kind of established in that side. And let's be honest, the last left back we bought from Ipswich ain't done too bad for us, is he? Aaron Cresswell.
No.
Right? He's been a fantastic servant. And mate, keep an eye on this Leif Davis, because we will need a new left back sooner rather than later to compete with Emerson and take over in the next few years.
Agreed. Well, you've got my starting 11 up on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. So let's turn the tables and on to you, Ben. What would be your starting 11?
Oh, Rob, I think I don't know if putting that shirt on has turned you into a psychic, because quite frankly, that is exactly the starting 11 I would put out.
Really? You'd put Kudus up top? Yeah.
Do you know what? And I'm baffled. I've said this in a few of our WhatsApp groups before, Rob. I'm baffled why we haven't actually tried that before. We'll start from the back. I think obviously the goalie in the back four. Oh, can we go back?
Hang on.
Yeah, I feel like the goalie in the back four. Obviously, we played last week against Brentford. We conceded one goal, but you'd have to say that was in the first minute, and then obviously we composed ourselves. So I think at the minute that's probably our back four, and it's good to see Kilman and Tadibo building that relationship. Albeit that I know Mavropanos come on at right back.
Yeah.
And I can actually see that he's got the attributes to be a good fullback. A lot of the best teams like City tend to play three centre halves across their back four, don't they?
Yeah.
And I think he can do that. I think the centre of midfield, I know he causes a lot of debate, but I've got to say Souček is my first pick in the central midfield now. Right?
Okay.
We know he's not the best technician. We know he's not really going to be spraying through balls through the team.
Yeah.
But all his other attributes, his hard work, his aerial ability, and most importantly, his fucking goals, Rob. Without his goals, I think we're struggling a little bit, Yeah. And so I think you put Souček in, and when I say build the team around him, I think he's got his attributes, and you've got to fill the other positions with the attributes that he doesn't have. And I think that's why Soler deserves a shot. And I hear that he come on and played pretty well last week.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, mate, Soler, you don't get in the Spanish side and be playing for PSG if you're a mug. So he's obviously got the ability. We're easing him in. I think he deserves to start. So that leaves one really between Alvarez, Paqueta, and Rodriguez. And I think Alvarez gets the nod on that based on what he can bring to the table defensively and his hard work. So, unfortunately, that means Paqueta's not in the side. But I think I actually think, Rob, the gambling thing is on his mind because I don't feel like he's actually done anything this season of note.
No. Do you think it's also had an impact on his mate Emerson? Because I do.
Really? No, I don't know, Rob. I'd hope not.
He's not been the same player, though, has he? And they're big mates. And so if you would think, let's just say hypothetically, that Paqueta knows that he's in the shit, and this could be his career on the line. And Emerson is his best mate. And Emerson knows what Paqueta knows. So
I don't know. I mean, I think, look, if Emerson's lost a bit of form, I genuinely don't think it's related to Paqueta's fucking situation. Because, quite frankly, Rob, if one of my mates was having a rough time with his missus, it ain't going to affect me fucking going to work, is it? Quite frankly, So it shouldn't if he's a professional. And actually, I think Kevin Nolan said something quite interesting, is that I think Paqueta's best form was probably out on the left. Do you get what I'm saying? When when he was out on the left, but coming inside, and then Emerson could bomb forward, and they had a good relationship. So I don't think it's anything to do with the gambling. I think it's positionally maybe Paqueta on the left and Emerson on the left. They get better together, which obviously is an option. But I want to see Somerville get a chance because I think he deserves it based on what we've seen this season. And I think Somerville's more of a goal threat than Paqueta on the left.
Fair enough.
And then obviously we've got Bowen on the right. Bowen needs to, all of the team really need to up the ante. And, I would put Kudus up front. I think maybe Lopetegui won't.
No. This is my, just to be clear, if anyone's sort of like wondering, this is my 11 if I was in the dugout. This is not necessarily what I think the coach is going to pick. But
And I just think Kudus has got all the attributes to be a good striker. He's got a good shot. He's quick. He's strong. He's quite good in the air. I think it's fucking staring you straight in the face. And quite frankly, I can't see what Antonio is bringing to the table. I mean, people might say, well, he done all right last week. He got an assist. And factually, he did get an assist from an absolutely pathetic shot that it was lucky that fucking Souček was standing there to tap it home. So, I'm sorry. I think Antonio has been a great servant. But at the age he is, look, I can't see any other Premier League teams playing a lone frontman who's 34 years old, who hasn't scored one goal this season. So I think we've got to change something.
And who, by his own admission, his race is run by 2/3 of the game is up. He's actually been on record as saying, I cannot play for anything longer than 60 minutes. That, if you're going to keep me on the pitch for half an hour, that last half an hour, it's there's nothing left sort of thing. So, this is a Premier League player, for Christ's sakes. This is not some sort of, 18 stone, beer bellied, mid-40s. I'm probably describing myself. I wouldn't play up top for West Ham. In fact, I probably wouldn't even last 10 minutes.
Rob, no, you definitely wasn't describing yourself because you're not mid-40s, mate. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Late 40s. Jesus Christ. Horrible.
But, I'd be inclined to say, Rob, that, like in rugby, they tend to have starters and finishers.
Yes.
That, Antonio's on the bench, and if we're chasing the game, you bring him on with half an hour to go, and he can just buzz
100%.
around. Then, for me, he shouldn't be starting in games in the Premier League anymore, and he probably wouldn't be if Fulkrug was fit. So that would be my 11, Rob. And just going back to the Fulkrug situation, it's probably right that we don't risk him, because let's be honest, we should have enough at home against a newly promoted Ipswich not to have to rush Fulkrug back. And I really hope we do.
Yeah, I mean, there is a part of me that sort of like agrees that with or without Fulkrug, we should have a reasonable expectation of winning this match today. And I don't mean that with any sort of nastiness or being patronising towards Ipswich. I think it's a fact. But if sort of like, if let's say he played today and he aggravated that injury and then puts him out of the Tottenham game, completely counterproductive,
Exactly.
Especially if we beat Ipswich at a canter anyway.
Yeah.
So I would rather probably just save him for the Tottenham game. For me, that's where I believe he would be the most value. Just my opinion. I might be wrong, but okay. Let's get to it. And all you guys in the live chat, we want your input with this one as well. Ben, talk me through how the game's going to unfold, and give me on the back of it your score prediction, please.
Right. Well, I've got to say, look, I'm going to go for a 3-0 win. We need it. We've done okay away from home this season, but obviously at home we've lost every game, and we need the points on the board. All of a sudden, if we win, it turns it into an okay start to the season. Yeah. Whereas if we don't get the 3 points, I think it's turned into a very poor start to the season. So it's quite a pivotal game, quite early on, and I'm hoping, Todibo and Kilman, they can settle down. We keep a clean sheet, and then I think if we put that team out, there's enough goal scoring threat with Somerville, Bowen, Souček, Kudus. And I'm hoping that Alvarez and Soler can control that middle of the park. So I'm going to go 3-0.
Oh, beautiful. And do you know what? I was on last night with Irish Tommy on the West Ham network, and I went with that scoreline as well. I think it's not a reasonable expectation. Let's look at it. We're the established Premier League team. We're the team with the superstar coach that's been at Real Madrid, the Spain national team. We've got, £150 million budget in the window against a team that's away from home, hasn't won a game in the Premier League this season. They've been out of the Premier League for 20-odd years. They've spent bugger all in the transfer window, etc., etc., etc. All these things make me believe it's not an unreasonable thing for me to say, not only should we beat them, we should actually beat them quite comfortably. That's a reasonable expectation. And I don't think that 3-0 is impossible. I really don't. I think we're perfectly capable of getting out there and ripping them to shreds. But what concerns me, Ben, and this is the asterisk in my score prediction, is obviously all of these stories that came out from the Brentford game about Kudus and Lopetegui squaring up to each other. Obviously, he didn't play the second half, Kudus, and the story coming out in and of itself. I mean, I sort of sit there and I think, well, I'm sure that goes on at half time and then full time in changing rooms up and down the land every week, and you don't hear of it. So the fact that story got out into the public domain is the first thing that's of concern. The second thing that's of concern is that the comments in the pre-match presser for this game seem to suggest to me that there's a little bit of a lingering aftertaste in the mouth of the head coach, because he turned around and said something. One of the questions was sort of like angling at trying to get some more information on what had happened at the G-Tech. And he turned around. He said, well, I'm only sort of interested. I can't remember what the words he were, but he sort of like made a very thinly veiled sort of barb in the general direction of Mohamed Kudus. And I sat there and I went, oh dear. That says to me that there's still a little bit of a lingering beef between the head coach and one of the star players in the team. So, well, whereas I think personally, even if behind the scenes they are at loggerheads, I think in the pre-match presser for a vital game, you just sort of like you bat it away. You just go, look, these things happen all the time. We've had words. We're on the same page now. We've drawn a line under it, and we're moving on. Even if behind the scenes that's actually a load of bollocks.
Yeah. If I'm honest, Rob, I didn't see the pre-match press conference, but I think maybe it could just be a case of, I'm hoping it's just Lopetegui setting his stall out that he's the boss and what he says goes. But if I'm honest, Rob, from what I've seen of Kudus, I feel like he's got a good attitude. That I feel like he'll think, I'll go out and show you that you shouldn't be taking me off. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I'm hoping that spurs him on. Instead of moping around, I think he'll go out there and hopefully bag a couple of goals. He should be starting. He's a massive goal threat to us. Obviously there's a lot of debate on where he should be playing, but I think he should be playing, and I hope he does. Right, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say Mohamed Kudus hat-trick for the 3-0 win. Lovely jubbly.
Perfect hat-trick. Left foot, right foot header. Come on.
Left foot, right foot, and I think one's going to come off his arse.
Oh, well, the almost perfect hat-trick. 2/3 of the way there, and then it all went horribly wrong with the third.
I was going to say another part of his body, but I thought maybe it was too early to say that.
But that wouldn't be sort of like very good to sort of like hit him there. Do you remember what happened with Christian Daly in the playoff? You was there, so was I. He got hit there, didn't he? And it didn't do him too many favours. Poor sod. Anyway, any final things you want to get off your chest, Ben, before we wrap it up?
Only that. I think it's, just to retouch, I think it's a massively important game, Rob, and I think it's important for Lopetegui as the manager to get the fans on board, especially at home after 3 losses. So big game, but I'm hoping the players will step up and deliver. Absolutely. Guys, thanks for joining us on this Ipswich preview. As we always ask you to do, please don't forget to like, comment on if you're watching this after the event, which will be in about a minute, that it will be in the past. Don't forget to share the stream to your social media platforms. That really helps us. And don't forget, if you are new around here, to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for alerts and new content. And remember, all these actions you can do take a couple of seconds of your time. They're free of charge to you, and they help to grow the channel into something bigger and better than where it finds itself now. And as always, we thank you very much indeed for your support. We're going to disappear. I'm off to the London Stadium shortly. We're going to we're going to turn them over, guys. Be positive, be confident, and give the boys your support if you're going there. I will be one of the many that are singing bubbles at the top of my voice. Don't forget to give your support to the Iron Supporting Food Banks charity. We'll see you next time. Come on, you Irons. Oh, and good luck to Richie Howson.
Iron Supporting Food Banks collects food and cash donations for needy families in Newham Borough and beyond. Please consider making a donation via their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of this stream. Come on, you Irons.